Hi there, this is Bridget from the Planner Speechy. Welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a plan with me for the week of April 21st through the 27th, 2025. I'm using this kit called Fern by Leonard Designs. I think this art came out a while ago, but I think it's all for Fern Gully. So I'll just go through the kit briefly. I printed and cut everything myself, so if you see any errors or like jagged edges, that's on me. I I haven't seen Fern Gully in a long time. I need to rewatch it. But I thought this would be a perfect Earth Day kit, and I'm all about it. There were some extras that I just didn't print with this because I didn't feel like I need them, but I have a ton of different foil things that I've been sort of piecing together. So I have a custom script from Planet Hannah, and I use this kind of like groovy font. The foil I used for this is green tie-dye. I just thought it would be kind of different. I have this foil bundle from Scribble Prints Co. I think it's called Emerald, but it's like Celestial is the name of the bundle. This was one of the $5 bundles I got when she had a major sale. So it's got very 80s vibes to it, I think. But I just love the color. It's sort of like a dark green hollow color. It's really pretty. And then there's the washi. And then I have these extras. These are like shattered purple flags. I thought would be kind of fun with this. This was a random extra from, let's see, it was like a free 10 thing that I got from her. I want to say this foil is called Malibu. I can't be sure though because it didn't actually say. And I was going to use just these two before I found this foil bundle, and then I was like, you know what, I have the foil, let's use the foil up. And then last but not least, I have these solid underlays in green tie-dye. I just think they're fun. Come on. So anyway, I am going to be laying everything down. Depending on how talkative I am, I might speed things up and come back in a voiceover. I've not been very successful at doing this while putting the stickers down at the same time. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Hey everyone, welcome to this space laydown. I did speed it up to 2 times the rate of my put down because otherwise I'd be talking for 45 minutes. But I'm just going through the different pages now to pick out which full boxes I'm going to use, and then I'm putting everything else that I don't need off to the side. Fern Gully is a great movie that I haven't seen in probably 20 plus years, if I'm being honest. I did not watch it when I put these stickers down. I thought about it, but really, I chose this kit, as I mentioned earlier, because it was going to be Earth Day. And so I thought, what better way to celebrate Earth Day than using a crazy cartoon that was sort of like an eco positive movie about the dangers of pollution and deforestation and all this other stuff. So I thought this would be fun. I was not part of the planner community when this art first came out, but I feel like this must have caused such a ruckus because um, it's such like a cult classic in animated movies for kids. I feel like in the 90s, as a 90s kid, I was born in 86. We just like had so many like political films thrust upon us. I remember this was a series of eco films. The other one was Once Upon a Forest, which has a really horrific opening scene where basically all of the forest animals and their families are killed because of poison gas. And then there's like a little Richie moment with a gospel choir trying to save an animal from the mud. Like, it's crazy. I'm like so on a tangent here. But anyway, so there are a bunch of movies that came out like this that were all about pollution and the environment. And this was one of the major ones. And it was kind of famous because it had a really famous cast. So I did find some like trivia about this film that I thought would be kind of fun to talk about. So I'll just go through some of the things that I see here. Uh, some of the names you'll recognize. So Christian Slater, Tim Curry, Samantha Mathis, and of course Robin Williams were voices in this film. The film centers around a boy, like a sort of a California surfer type dude who is part of a construction crew, and this construction crew accidentally unlocks this evil spirit called Hexus, who like takes over the rainforest, and these little fairies kind of save this guy from being killed, and then they hatch a plan to get Hexus back contained again because he's going to take over everything. So it was such a wild, uh, it was a really, really wild movie. But anyway, so apparently in the European version, all of the characters in the film, male and female, were voiced by one person, a comedian named Angel Garo, who did 32 different voices, and it set a Guinness Book of Records for most voices done by a single person in a film, which I think is very impressive. Like, if you're trying to do Robin Williams, I mean, hello, that's crazy. Um, I'm just going and looking at the planner scene for a second. I loved these solid underlays. The green tie-dye was so perfect for this kit, um, not only in spirit, but just also in the color choices. And it's making me think that instead of ordering a bunch of different patterned underlays, I should just do this and just get a bunch of solids of different foils that I want to try out, hold on to them, and then pair them with different kits because I think this looks really, really cool. Um, okay, so moving back to my Fern Gully trivia. Um, so let's see. Da, 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 da. Okay, so there was a sort of a campaign to get Robin Williams not to voice the character of Batty, who is kind of this rainforest bat who has a transmitter in his ear, like a radio transmitter, and he's very silly, obviously. But basically, the Aladdin had just come out or was about to come out, and so they didn't want to have these two like really wild character sidekicks out at the same time. And of course, Robin Williams was like, "I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. Leave me alone." And he was brilliant in both films, and he definitely created distinct characters. Um, there was a kids meal toy associated with this. It was with Pizza Hut, and they had collectible cups with Krista, Pips, and Batty that came with packets of seeds for growing real plants. See, here's where we get into the like actual earth aspect of this. Um, and let's see. So there's not too much more trivia except that the role of Batty, which Robin Williams voices, was only supposed to be 8 minutes long, and apparently he improvised about 14 hours worth of dialogue for one character. I don't know how you make those cuts on the editing room floor of Robin Williams, but that that was a little ridiculous. Um, there were some songs that were injected into the movie as well, and apparently there were like a lot of questionable things done in the original iterations of those songs that were like slightly sexual in nature, that were like way too sexual for a children's film. So those were cut. There was a sequel, Fern Gully 2, The Magical Rescue. I have never seen it. I don't know anything about it. But anyway, that's my Fern Gully trivia. So let's get back to the plan with me. This kit came with two different scenes. There was a waterfall and at the house, and I did end up using both just because I didn't really have enough. There were a lot of extra like fashion people that came with these kits. Leonard Designs does a really good job of putting everything out in her printable sets. They are slightly more expensive than I think most printable shops charge. Like she charges $5, whereas other shops might charge like if it's on sale, like anywhere from 175 to 250, like $2.50. So, but you do get everything with her kits. You get all the functionals, you get icons, you get doodles, and everything is color coordinated, and so you can really pick and choose what you want, and that's kind of great. But yeah, I decided to do this from the top down this time. Uh, I have little cheat sheet grid lines on my paper. All the Press inserts have them. I've talked about this before. I'm not crazy about where the lines are for the washi strips and the sidebar, and I feel like the majority of people who buy these inserts are using them for memory keeping anyway, and so I kind of hope in the next iteration that she does something a little different. I might go back to the Sadie Stickers spiral planner. I haven't really decided yet. I do like being able to take things out and being able to plan multiple weeks or multiple days on each weekly sheet because I think that's just nice when I have things that I want to memory keep. I'm not limited to that space. That being said, I do feel like I could create these myself. Like I could buy printable ones of these, print my own, and just augment them with a Sadie Stickers planner because I do miss having that spiral bound. It is nice. So I'm thinking about going back to it. I know Erin Condren just dropped their new line, and this is the first time like I really didn't pay attention to it at all. I haven't bought an Erin Condren planner in several years, but I see what they're doing. I see how they're trying to meet everybody's needs. And I mean, the planners are just so expensive. I just don't, I'm not loyal to that brand necessarily. So, anyway, we are about halfway through this. So, I just wanted to jump back in. I do have I'm saving all of my extra solid leftovers. I should probably do like a separate video of all the different underlays I've done. Um, but yeah, I definitely, let's see, I think I did 4 things here. Oh, my cat is trying to get into the door. I'm sorry, kitty. I love you. I love you, Scoots. Um, if I open the door, I might wake my husband up who's napping, and I don't want to do that. So, um, I like how I literally disappear for 10 minutes, and he's like, "Where are you?" So, anyway, I really thought the art in all these full boxes was cute. It's very 80s. Or early 90s, I guess you should say, with the Walkman in particular. It was like a very big highlight of this film. Um, and I know there was a fashion person that looked like Krista, but I wanted to highlight Batty as the squish at the top. So that's what I ended up doing. I do have a sort of Earth Day this or that question. So I'll do that in just a second. Earth Day was on a Tuesday this year. And this was the first week back from vacation. So actually, we had that Monday off. Um, and I was really grateful to have that Monday off after a long weekend because Monday is actually one of my more challenging therapy days. I have a lot of sessions, a lot of kids. I think I see like 12 kids before 10 a.m. on Monday. So it's a lot. But now I'm just laying down the extra fashion headers. And then I put a little one just running across the top, and I thought that looked super cute. And then the regular headers, I think, are just little moons and stars in a different configuration. This was a really cool color. The foil is called Emerald, and I don't really see it as an option. It was really just for this particular kit. This bundle. So I'm sure she created it to go with a specific kit, but I bought it for the foil, not really knowing what celestial thing was going to work, but I figured moon, stars, it's very 80s, 90s, it's very Earth Day, and it matches the color scheme, so we'll go with it. But it does look really cute. All right, so Earth Day, this or that. Recycle waste or throw away waste? So this is kind of an odd question. I'm guessing they're talking about composting. So for fun fact, my husband and I do compost. We don't compost everything, but we do. My husband loves to garden. And so since we moved into our new house, we have this beautiful backyard, and he's like really made this incredible garden in the front of our house and in the back of our house. He's now growing different fruits and berry bushes and trees. Um, we're now growing corn and pumpkins as well, so there's like no limit. But essentially, we have a tiny compost cylinder that it's like a tin that has a filter in the top, and so we put ground coffee because I make French press coffee a lot, eggshells, and leftover produce like fruits, vegetables that have gone bad. We don't put meat or like food leftovers in there. So it really doesn't smell bad at all because it's filtered and it's, mostly coffee grounds, but the coffee grounds are really good for the soil. So that seems to work. But yeah, so let's see. What else? What else? Um, Use plastic bags or reusable bags. So I have a ton of reusable bags from Trader Joe's, which I use in every grocery store. Um, and that is sort of because I had a cat named Vinny who has since passed away, but he was addicted to plastic bags and he was also allergic to them. So he would try and eat them. And so we really made a concerted effort not to bring plastic bags into our home. Additionally, New York has a plastic bag fee that they charge now, and they even do it for paper bags to reduce the amount of plastic in the environment. So um, I make an extra effort to bring my reusable bags with me wherever I go because not only is it easier to carry everything back inside, it is better for the environment. And the less plastic we use, the better. Drive a car or bike to work. I didn't learn how to ride a bike until I was 16, so that's a big no. I will definitely, but I also didn't learn to drive a car until I was like 26, so I definitely would rather drive a car. Consume meat or vegetarian alternatives. I do both. I've eaten vegan meats and they're pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of vegan cheeses. Uh, just some things I'm like, just uh, I don't need it, or I'll take the original. But yeah, I'm a omnivore. Um, Buy products with minimal packaging or heavily packaged products. That's a weird question. Nobody intentionally buys that stuff, so I'm going to skip that one. Turn off lights when leaving a room or leave them on. I always turn them off. Fun fact, my husband is Italian and he doesn't say turn off the lights. He says close the lights. I don't know if anyone has ever heard. I never heard that before until I met him. So I was like, what are you talking about? Um, Conserve water, use a lot of water. These are dumb questions. So sorry. Um, I I try to conserve my water usage. I turn my faucet off in between brushing my teeth and all that stuff. So yeah. Shop locally or at large chain stores. I do both. I do most of my grocery shopping at big stores just because it is easier. But we do have a farmer's market near our house where we can get eggs and produce and things like that. And last thing, volunteer for a local cleanup or not volunteer. So I've actually volunteered to clean up public parks in New York City, like on a Saturday morning with a bunch of friends. And it's actually really fun when you can do it with a group of people that you like. So at the time, I was part of a kickball league, and I was like, we decided, oh, let's just do this. It'll be a nice thing to do, and then we'll all go out afterwards and hang out. And it was, we just they gave us materials, we just cleaned up a park, got all the litter off, and it looked so much better. And you just feel a little bit better about yourself when you volunteer. So I highly encourage you to volunteer and do something for your community, whether it's finding a community garden that you want to participate in or anything like that. Like all of those options are good. So yeah, sorry my Earth Day questions were a little blah this year, but so I decided to use these really pretty green dot, dates for the kit, and they all showed up really well with all of these colors. So somehow managed to find the perfect color scheme for this. It's very hard to do when you have all these bright colors. So going with a dark foil can actually make all of it pop, and I think that's the trick. I do use a script set from Carly Plans. You can buy all of the months and then you can pick the script. And so I think this is font choice 5. It's her scripty one. So you get, I think, 5 or 6 different months per sheet, and then you get 5 of those months each. So super convenient, works really well if you have an undated planner like this. And what I've been doing is I just find a little bit of deco and I put it on top of the Monday, and then I fill the rest of the day with random deco from the kit. This particular week, I decided to do the full week. I did use the weekend banner because I had it. I very rarely use the weekend banner. Uh, I just thought the double box was kind of lacking, and I was like, let me just throw this on top. But yeah, the weekend banner is like one of the more outdated aspects of planning, I think. I don't know how many people use it regularly. If you use it regularly, put something in the comments because I'd be curious to know. But I generally forget to use it or don't use it. So I'm just filling in the top with lots of tiny deco, which I know Amy Ray Plans is always talking about the size of the deco, and I think she's right. That I like the deco to be tinier so that you can incorporate it within the plan with me if you want, or if you're using it on the top, that's great. But I've also been trying to use a little bit on the sides as well. And I didn't, Scroll Prints Co. doesn't have hole reinforcers as part of her bundles, which I think is kind of interesting because for years she used um, these A5 wide loose leaf things. So I'm kind of surprised that it never made it in there. And now I've actually done several in a row without the hole reinforcer, so I have to be careful when I turn the pages, make sure I don't rip anything. Because now the pages are really, really thick. But they're evenly thick, which is kind of nice. So you can see all the cute little deco up there. I tried to have it match um, the photos, or not the photos, the art, so that you weren't seeing the same thing over and over and over again. But and then I put just a little bit of extra on the side to use it all up. I like those little sneakers. They're very cute. So I had someone comment that they have to place all of the deco such that they don't need to cut it off because I guess using scissors is difficult for them. And I think about that now every time I have to cut the deco off. And I used to be really against cutting the deco because I was like, you're wasting half of the sticker. But it's just something I've started doing and now I've gotten used to it. So it doesn't bother me as much, but I'm still thinking about that comment. So anyway, I'm about to zoom out and show you the full spread so you can see everything and see her in all of her glory. So please keep watching for that. There we go. So you can see everything. This is the full spread. I love how this base came out. It's so lovely and shimmery, and I love the tie-dye. I did end up using tie-dye for my custom multi-scripts. This was the last week that I have custom multi-scripts. So these are just the leftover pages. I haven't laid anything down yet, obviously, so I still have all of my flags. I used most of the deco, most of the full boxes, and then everything else is just going to get incorporated into the kit. I have these really cool green sheets left over. I have a bunch of overlays. I didn't use the underlays, so I'm going to keep those. And then I ended up not using any of those scripts from that sheet because I used the Malibu sheet. So thanks for watching and have a really great week. Bye.